So today we are seeing just very simple storm kind of that daytime convection. We're not seeing anything huge, and we do see that there is a slice right through the middle of the country where we're not going to be seeing any thunderstorms, and so we're not going to see any of these big influences overall. We do see multiple areas for big areas of that marginal threat, but looking at all of the areas, there's nothing that's gonna right now it's telling me that there's gonna be this big development. It's all gonna be kind of isolated, one or two cells, and then going in and out. And we'll check that out because it's gonna be very obvious from our afternoon to our night scan, where we're gonna see there isn't time for development within these storms. Temperature wise, it's gonna be a wonderful day no matter where you are in the nation. It is going to be a great day. Now, of course, if you look down, it's going to be in the hundreds in parts of Arizona and even California. So maybe not perfect considering it is scorching hot down there, but I mean, what can you expect? You're living in the middle of the desert in the middle of June. So the rest of the country, though, we are seeing lovely temperatures across actually the entire nation. As I said, you can kind of see that bowl shape that goes from the Dakotas down to about Kentucky and then back up. That is actually because that low pressure that was moving through, it was actually kind of a cold front. So not saying that, obviously, looking at these temperatures, it didn't get any colder. But rather than getting up into the 90s, we could say a lot of these states, including the Midwest states, the Ohio Valley, and even the Northeast, will only reach 75 degrees. And when we say only 75, it's going to get to 75. So it's going to be a wonderful day in those areas. The hotter areas, it's going to be about the same that it's been for the past week or so. So as I mentioned about the afternoon and night scans, so this is the afternoon scan, and we already have storms that have developed in the south, but looking back to our multiple areas, we see these itty-bitty cells. Great example is Kansas. We see one or two little cells. They could be a supercell or two. That's why they do have that marginal threat on them, but really we could just potentially see some very small hail, but our biggest threat is going to be just rainfall. How much rainfall are we getting in some areas? And if it rains a lot at once, that could lead to flash flooding, but we're not expecting any of these big rain totals upwards of like 5 to 8 inches. We're just expecting maybe 1 or 2 inches, but over maybe even 30 minutes. So that could be our biggest potential, but not expecting that much. So our nighttime hours, what we are looking here at is actually the dying of most of these storms. So looking back up into Montana, 1 or 2 cells might be able to hold some of those high potential for rainfall. But really looking at the south is our only big potential still. And that's really because when we're looking at this, we're seeing that most of these storms that have rain left in them, some of that yellow and red, is actually left over. And that's because most of these storms had to develop at 5 and 6 p.m. when they don't have much daylight left. So whenever we see all this, we're not expecting anything huge to develop today. So that does it for today's forecast. We hope to see you back tomorrow on Thursday, and we hope you have a great June 24th.